So good evening all. In this lesson, we are going to discuss our third free class by History for Exams for your upcoming UGC NET examination, and the topic is King Ashoka. So why we are taking a particular topic like King Ashoka? We can take the top chapter Mauryan Empire, but instead we took this one as King Ashoka only. Why? Because every year, whether it is shift 1 or shift 2, there will be questions about King Ashoka in different ways. It's a big topic, but we will be covering one of the most important part 1 here only, one of the most important areas only here. After that, the rest of the portions will be covered later in different ways. Okay, so King Ashoka, every year there will be questions regarding Ashoka's policies, regarding Ashoka's inscriptions. Inscriptions are very important source of information, and for the February 20 examination for the shift 1 also there was some questions regarding the inscription. Shift 2 there was also question about inscription. So inscription is very important, and today we'll be covering some of the most important approach towards Ashoka's inscription. That will be our topic of discussion for today. So Ashoka's inscriptions are very important for your examination. Also, you have to have some kind of other information for your upcoming examination. But for the sake of the convenience, we'll be discussing King Ashoka and his inscription in today's class. First of all, you have to understand who is King Ashoka. Simply, we have some very important points. He's the third emperor of Mauryan Empire. First one was Chandragupta Maurya. Then comes Bindusara. And then comes King Ashoka. So he ruled between 268 BC to 232. Around 36 years. For 36 years, he ruled as the third king or the third emperor of the Mauryan Empire. That is the first emperor in the history of India with the capital Pataliputra of Bihar. So, regarding the much information about Ashoka, that comes all from Brahmi edicts. So, Brahmi edicts, the early form of writing style, that is called as Brahmi edicts, and we have the early form of Brahmi. So we have more information about the King Ashoka through these Brahmi edicts. We will be discussing about such kind of Brahmi edicts and the decipherment of that inscriptions. And during his father's reign, meaning during the period of Bindusara, he served as a governor of Ujjain in central India. And later he's going to crush the revolt happening in the Taxila region, that we can understand from certain Buddhist sources as well. I'll be discussing everything and such kind of things in Mauryan Empire chapter. But here, for the sake of the convenience, you have to just have an idea regarding who was King Ashoka. And during his 8th regnal year, the most important battle, so 60 BC, there happened this war called as the Kalinga War, the Battle of Kalinga. So the Battle of Kalinga, otherwise the Kalinga War, that happened during the 8th regnal year of Ashoka. So, and yeah, information about him we can understand from his inscriptions. From this information or from this PPT or slide itself, you have to note some of the very important points for upcoming examination. First of all, the ruling period of King Ashoka, 268 to 232 BC. Just note this period because this period is important. Then, during his 8th regnal year, the Kalinga War was happened. These two informations are very important. You know why? There's a good chance for asking certain question like, consider the following statement about King Ashoka. Which one of the following is correct or incorrect? Such kind of questions can be asked, and there will be 5 statement questions. In history, when you analyze previous year question paper, you can understand when we are discussing the most important king or any event based statement wise questions, there will be out of 5, at least 2 will be based on numbers, otherwise year or period or something. So numbers will be there in your options. For that, you should have clarity. So you know that the 260 BC Kalinga War happened during the period of Ashoka. And it is commonly believed that what Ashoka, after this Kalinga War, he reverted to Buddhism. But we don't know that it was during his 8th regnal year because we didn't give much information or much focus to that. But when you are preparing for any exam, for your examination in any topics like based on the biography of the kings, you have to focus on the most important events happened in the history of that king. I'm saying that in the medieval history of India, you have one person called as Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And we are more familiar with this Muhammad bin Tughlaq's reforms, such as he shifted his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad, token currency system. You have to arrange that chronologically. Which one happened first, which one happened last? Such kind of questions will be there. In between, there will be a statement that Ibn Battuta visited India. It was a previous question. So you have to know the biographical and event based with the correct information. That's the purpose of learning the biographical information about such kind of rulers. Got the idea what you have to do? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So finally, we are going to discuss about Ashoka's inscriptions because they are going to give much more information about King Ashoka. So regarding the inscription, before the inscription, we have to discuss certain titles about King Ashoka. First of all, name Ashoka is simply Ashoka. Shoga means sorrow. Ashoka, no sorrow, means literally means without sorrow. The literal meaning of the term is without sorrow, no sadness, is happy. It is believed that Ashoka Vadana, according to Ashoka Vadana, is a Buddhist related Ashoka's literature work. Buddhist related work about King Ashoka. According to that work, it is said that his mother gave him his name because his birth removed her sorrows. So by the birth of Ashoka, all the sorrow of his mother passed away. So simply, it's a legend story. So that believed like that. That's why it is given Ashoka. Then one name is Ashoka. Another name is Priyadasi, meaning the beloved slave or something. Okay, Priyadasi is associated with Ashoka in 3rd, 4th century CE. And we have the information based on the work called as Debavamsha. Give me, guys, where this Debavamsha work is produced, and I'll give you a clue. It is produced based on Buddhist legendary story or Buddhist work is Debavamsha. Where it is produced? Debavamsha. Go for a guess. Where the location of this work?
Sri
Where it
Lanka.
was produced?
Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka.
Yeah, it's Sri Lanka.
Sri
Very good. Okay, Sri Lanka. So the point is that we know that during the period of Ashoka, the Buddhism got spread into the rest of the world, especially to the south, and then reaching this Anuradhapura, that is Sri Lanka. And there produced many Buddhist work. Such one was Debavamsha, another one is Mahavamsha. So Debavamsha, that says about the title Priyadasi. And Ashoka's inscription also mentioned here as Devanam Priya, the beloved of the gods. Devanam Priya, very beloved of the gods. So these are certain very important titles given to King Ashoka. One is Ashoka, another one is Priyadasi, third one is Devanam Priya. We have other titles also, Raja Magadha or Raja Magadha. We'll be discussing such kind of titles later. So there is one opinion that the identification of Devanam Priya and Ashoka as the same person is established by the Maskya and Gujra inscriptions. So we have Maskya and Gujra inscription from the southern part of the country, from Karnataka and other parts of the country. Based on that, we could understand that the term Devanam Priya, that is none other than it is mentioned about the King Ashoka. And one more thing, the titles like Devanam Priya, that is used by some other kings also other than King Ashoka, such as we have King Devanam Priya Tissa of Anuradhapura. So Anuradhapura is none other than Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, there was a contemporary king of Ashoka named as Tissa. He also received this title Devanam Priya. Devanam Priya. And Ashoka's immediate descendant. We know that Ashoka is the 3rd ruler. The 4th ruler is Dasharatha Maurya. Dasharatha Maurya. So the 4th ruler Dasharatha Maurya also he received this title Devanam Priya. So you have to know basic information about this title. That is where we have this information. Who are other contemporary rulers having the same titles? Okay, just to focus on that one. And regarding the Ashoka inscription, from here, give much more important focus regarding the Ashoka inscriptions. First, we are going to discuss how these inscriptions are studied, or when the inscriptions are began to studied. So what we can see, it was around 1830s, meaning during 19th century or during the British period. What we can see, they are going to study some kind of older inscriptions. They are finding the different parts of the country. And since the early inscriptions were like early Brahmi and Kharosthi script, the modern people, they couldn't read it. So they are going to develop certain similar language based on this early Brahmi. Thus, they are going to have, they are going to make a serious or landmark approach to study this early Brahmi script. Thus, we have two very important persons in 1837. One is James Prinsep. Guys, just listen to me. 95% of students, they will stop learning from here. James Prinsep, he deciphered Brahmi script in 1837. James Prinsep, he deciphered this Brahmi script in 1837. That's not. James Prinsep, along another scholar called as Christian Lesson. You have to also note this name because for your next examination, this can be asked as a direct question. James Prinsep, along with whom studied this Brahmi script. You will have this option, Christian Lesson. Then there come Edwin Norris, George Turner, These are others very important names that you have to note for your examination. But most of the students don't care such kind of information. That's why I'm saying that these informations are very important for your upcoming examination. So James Prinsep, along with the Christian lesson in 1837, they deciphered what? Brahmi script. It was a first attempt. It was a first attempt. But we got more information about this Kharoshthi inscription and Kharoshthi decipherment by this person, Edwin Norris, in 1846 only. So first we discussed about the Brahmi script during 1837. Then later we are discussing about the Kharoshthi inscription by Edwin Norris. So you have to note this name and this inscription also. We are saying Kharoshthi language. And at the same time, we have Brahmi language also. Brahmi language was deciphered by James Prinsep and Christian lesson. Okay. Then at the same time, Edwin Norris, he deciphered this Kharoshthi inscription. Another important information, the king usually referred in his inscription by two epithets. So what we can see, we have many inscriptions in different parts, whether it is in rock or in pillar. The king had made many edicts or inscriptions, and all these inscription or edicts, king usually referred with the two names. One is Devanam Priya, another one is Piyadasi, that we have discussed just before. Okay, on the basis of Sri Lankan Chronicle Deepavamsha, George Turner, he connected the epithet Piyadasi with the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka. You remember just this one. We have just discussed that information here in the title page. In this title page. Yeah, just listen. Devanam Priya and Priyadasi. Priyadasi is coming to Deepavamsha. Also terming this Devanam Priya. Identification of Devanam Priya, that is established by some other inscriptions. We told that. Similarly, the epithet Piyadasi connected with the Mauryan king Ashoka by this person, George Turner, based on the article or based on the chronicle Deepavamsha. So you have to note the name of this person, chronicle, and epithet user. These three informations are very important for an upcoming examination. Once again, I repeat, you have to know basic information about this Ashoka's inscription. We have James Prinsep and Christian lesson. They are studying Brahmi language, Brahmi script. Edwin Norris for Kharoshthi, and George Turner in Deepavamsha, he connected what? Piyadasi with the king Ashoka. How the discussion so far is clear? Is that okay? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
What about what about others? Is that
Yes.
yeah, okay, fine. Now we are discussing Ashoka's certain features of this Ashoka's inscriptions. So first of all, as I discussed, Ashoka's inscriptions were mainly in Brahmi script. We are saying script. Script means which we are writing. But at the same, it was in different dialects of Prakrit language. So we can see the most important language during this Vedic period was Sanskrit. During the Vedic period, it was Sanskrit. After that, some languages are going to be developed from the Sanskrit, but that is more used by the common people. Such one was Prakrit and Pali. And certain dialects or certain other variants of these Prakrits were used by the kings, and the script was used by the king was Brahmi script. You have to note that one. And we have Manshera and Shahbazgarh in Pakistan, two locations. Just look here. Shahbazgarh and Mansehra, these two locations, Mansehra and Shahbazgarh in Pakistan. They have certain major rock edicts in the Prakrit language and Kharoshthi script. So here we can see in the northwestern part of India, we can see Kharoshthi script. Otherwise, in this region, we can see Brahmi script. We are saying about different types of scripts used during this Ashoka's inscription. On the northwestern part of the empire, all this region, you know that when we are discussing about the Mauryan Empire, which dynasty was ruled here? Seleucid Empire or Greco-Roman Empire, Seleucid Empire of Seleucus Nicator and his followers, or Alexander his followers, whatever it is. So in this region, what we can see, some inscriptions were there, and the features of what that inscription, those inscriptions were, the inscriptions were made up of one Greek for Aramic language, one Greco-Aramic, and one Aramic Prakrit inscription. So in the northwestern part of India, having some connection, some border culture with this Greek culture, we had Greek, Aramic, and Greco-Aramic and Aramic Prague inscriptions are also available. And another statement is that the inscriptions of Ashoka do not contain any geological information. Why have to know such kind of statements? Because there will be questions based on assertion and reason. So in that you will be getting certain questions. I'll just post some questions in your group as well that was asked before the last time itself regarding Ashoka's inscriptions, so that you will understand how the questions are actually going to come for your upcoming examination. So there are assertion and reason type of questions. Ashoka is inscription do not contain any genealogical information. Genealogical information means about his father Bindusara, Chandragupta Maurya, and the ruling dynasties before this Mauryan Empire. But it provides certain geographical information, and every such kind of informations are available from Ashoka's inscription. And we have certain internal chronological references says that Ashoka had different kinds of inscriptions. First, we can classify them like minor, meaning a small, or rock edicts, major, rock edicts, then pillar edicts. So these are the basic classifications of Ashoka's inscriptions. There are different rock edicts or different inscriptions produced during the time of King Ashoka. One is minor rock edict, major rock edict, and pillar edicts. That's the point I'm discussing here. And pillars inscriptions, the importance of the pillar inscriptions. Pillar inscription, that is simply on pillar. We have we have parliament. Parliament has many pillars. So when we write something on that pillar, it is called as pillar edict. Simply that means okay. So pillar inscriptions are inscribed on imposing monolithic sandstone pillars and highly polished surface. This is the basic feature of Mauryan pillars. Okay. The stone, we'll be comparing this one with the Achaemenid culture. Not now, that will be in your advanced classes, but just to know such kind of information. The stone seems to have been quarried at Chunar. So for this pillar construction, we have taken this stone from at a region from called as Chunar. There we have quarries. From there we are going to we are going to produce this Chuna type of stones that is in Uttar Pradesh itself. So here you have to focus. Pillars are very important sources of information about Ashoka's period, and we have pillar inscriptions, and we are getting the stones for this pillar from a site called as Chunar, that is from Uttar Pradesh. Okay, you have to note such kind of things. And regarding the contents of Ashoka's inscription, we'll be discussing these two now. Okay, these two informations are that much important also. So regarding contents of this Ashoka inscription, first point is that the inscriptions basically says what? They're saying about emperor's ideas and commands. Simply, if I am the ruler of this state, I'll be saying that record my voices or record my instructions. So the people will be recording it in paper, or that will be in a wall. That is called as simply inscriptions. Okay. So apart from the recurring epithets, Devanam Piya, Piyadasi. So we discussed Devanam Piya, Piyadasi as some of the epithets or the titles used by the King Ashoka. We have some other titles also, like Laja Magadhe or Raja Magadhe. It is given that Laja Magadhe or Raja Magadhe, that is King of Magadha. So this title was taken by King Ashoka. We have this information from this Calcutta Bairat Minor Rock Edict, or otherwise called as Babur Edict. We have Babur Edict, that is a minor rock edict, otherwise called as Calcutta Bairat Edict. So from that information, we can see one title or another title used by King Ashoka, that is Laja Magadha, and also that mentions about his capital city Pataliputra by Rock Edict number 5. So you have to note such kind of Rock Edict and importance. Okay, and so one is that provides information about king's ideas and commands. Second one, that gives certain epithets. Third one, inscriptions provided about the nature of king's justice. So there's a separate Rock Edict number 1 that addressed to officers known as Nagala Vyohalagas. I don't know how to pronounce exactly, but you have to know that there are certain officials with this name. They are having some kind of bloody nature. They are corruptive officials. So king raises the problem of people suffering as a result of unfair imprisonment and harsh treatment. So in the kingdom, the justice system was not at all strong and efficient, and king is going to address these officials, Nagala Vyohalagas, And addressing to them, king says that you have to have a fair, a good trial, and a strong administration. King is warning them. Such kind of thing also can be seen. Regarding the justice system, we can see the pillar edict number 4. This is very important because how many of you actually watched that video that uploaded in our YouTube discussing about animal sacrifice? King Ashoka is going to ban this animal sacrifice based on the pillar edict number 5. How many of you watched that?
Sir, 4, edict 4.
There, not this one. I have uploaded one video in our YouTube channel regarding the previous year question paper discussion. How many of you watched that? If you are not going to watch that, I won't be uploading such kind of informations. In that information, you will get one very important topic, that pillar edict number 5. According to that, Ashoka king, he bans all animal sacrifices in the state. Similarly, you have to note this point, pillar edict number 4. You will be asked about the pillar edict or rock edict and what it signifies. What's the importance of that? You will be asked such kind of questions. So according to the pillar edict number 4, that instruct certain officers known as Rajugas, provincial officials of King Ashoka, Rajugas, to meet rewards and punishment fairly and fearlessly, to go for a good justice system. Ashoka king instruct the officers like Rajugas in his pillar edict number 4. So in his pillar edict number 4, we can see the efficiency of his justice system. Such kind of questions can be asked for your upcoming examination. That's why I'm saying that you have to learn and not each and every point, never neglect, just to give much more attention and focus to whatever things you are learning. That will be sufficient to clear this examination. No need to by heart all the words from the Ubinder Singh. No need to learn everything from all the history sources. But whatever the things you are learning, make sure that you are having that information in that much 100% clarity. That is enough. So regarding the justice system, the pillar edict number 4 also says that 3-day respite to the prisoners condemned to death. Say like, I am committed to death, or I am sentenced to death by the king. I'll get 3 days. For what purpose? My family members will come to me, they will visit me, and we'll have finally our last wishes and such kind of things. And also I can take fast, I can do, or I can think about myself for a better, a good or a virtue life in the life after the death. So pillar edict number 4 of Ashoka also says about 3-day respite given to the prisoners condemned to death, so that relatives they can come, and if they fail, the prisoner time to distribute gift or undertake fast to attain happiness in the next world. So king is going to actually give another opportunity. But here indirectly you have to understand one thing. Even though we says about Ashoka changed a lot, the Chanda Ashoka later turned into this Dhamma Ashoka. We will be learning such kind of things. Ashoka is all Dhamma. But remember that Ashoka never deleted or never avoided the practice called as a death sentence. So death sentence was very common in Mauryan Empire or in ancient India. You have to note that. So in pillar edict for itself, we can understand that death sentence was prevailed in that society. So in this PPT, you have to learn about certain epithets, then Ashoka's justice system based on the pillar edict number 4, officials, and 3-day respite time given to prisoners condemned to death. You have to note these much points, very important. Don't miss that. Then similarly, some other information regarding his faith in Buddhism, how Ashoka's inscriptions deals with Buddhism, or how the inscription says about the relation of King Ashoka with Buddhism. In Minor Rock Edict number 1, King said that he is a lay follower of Buddha's teaching for over 2.5 years. For 2.5 years, King was the ardent follower or supporter of Buddha's teaching. And the Calcutta Minor Bairat Rock Edict number 3, otherwise called as Babur Edict, is very important. Ashoka addressed the Buddhist order and announced his deep faith in Buddhism. So if you are getting a question like King Ashoka believed in Buddhism, or he had a deep faith in Buddhist orders or Buddhism, from where we are getting that information? That is none other than Babur edict or minor rock edict number 3. You have to study this one. Buddhist orders like Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And this minor rock edict number 3 or Babur edict itself, that lists 6 Buddhist sermons on Dhamma that Ashoka recommends that the laity and monks listen to and reflect on. So in the stage, Ashoka actually is going to introduce or asked these monks, Buddhist monks, nuns, and other people to follow what? Certain Buddha's instructions that they are called as dharma, Buddha's dharma or Buddha's sermons. So that one also can be understood from this Babur edict. So for your examination, guys, the most important type of question will be which inscription says about what, or this inscription says about this information. So such kind of thematic questions will be asked. That is very obvious. So just don't miss that. That's why I'm included this topic, King Ashoka and inscriptions for your free class. So don't miss that. And rock edict number 8. Rock edict number 8 actually is for Ashoka's tour. Ashoka conducts certain tours, as you guys know. The kings of the older period, because nowadays we have no kings. The kings of the older period, they are going to have night raids on their horses. They are going to observe the people of the country. Many rulers are there. There is one famous ruler in the history of the world, that is Khalifa Umar, the second Khalifa. You guys know, most of the nights he won't be sleeping. He'll be observing the people. And there are many famous stories about that person. His administration, in that sense, is a ruler of Arabia. Okay. So in the rock edict number 8, the king's tours can be seen. And as part of that tour, our Dhamma tours, is going to tour to Bodh Gaya. What is the significance of Bodh Gaya? Nothing else. The Buddha's enlightenment region. Buddha received his enlightenment, spiritual thought, spiritual knowledge, kaivalya, or knowledge from where? From this place. So he is going to approach there. Meaning he has some kind of respect towards Buddhism, at least we can understand that. And he have to understand these points are connecting, some of the most important points connecting with the Ashoka's relation with the Buddhism. However, we have most of the inscription says about Dhamma. You might have heard about this term, Ashoka's Dhamma policy. Dhamma is nothing else, is a Prakriti term of Sanskrit term Dharma. In Sanskrit, it is called as Dharma. Dharma. And the Prakriti term is Dhamma. So Ashoka is going to have what? Ashoka is propagating his Dhamma policy in his state. As part of that, what we can see, Ashoka's inscriptions most of the time discuss about Dhamma policy as well. The Aramic inscription in the northwestern part of the country, you discussed it. Use the word Dhata and in place of Dhamma. And Greek inscription use Eusebia. So for the next examination, you will get another type of question. In ancient India, the terms data, in English it is data, just listen, data, but in Aramic is data, and I don't know how to pronounce, refers to what? This is Aramic. And at the same time, Greek inscription Eusebia, meaning what? None other than Dhamma itself. None other than Dhamma itself. So you have to know such kind of terminologies also. So from this inscription, you will get much more information, because ultimately these inscriptions are going to tell us about King Ashoka. So you have to study these inscriptions very well. And finally, there is some other topics left. I'll be discussing that later. So guys, you have to do one thing. Just to focus on Ashoka's inscriptions and its significance, I'll be sending one PDF that you can read based on this from the text of Ubinder Singh. I have summarized Ubinder Singh. I'll be giving certain abstract from that chapter, and I'll be sending the details of Ashoka inscriptions in our group. Okay, so hope the class is understood. Hope you understood, guys. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.